Welcome to Car Free Conversations. My name is Domenico, and my co-host today is Nicole Roberts of the Downtown CP Partnership. Hello, Nicole.
Hi, Dom. Thanks for having me today.
I'm glad that you're here. Saumitra was not able to join us today as my co-host, so Nicole has kindly offered to step in as my co-host, and I'm glad you're here. This will be fun.
Yeah.
Today, we are joined by Stephanie Weaver, the Acting Director of Marketing and Communications for the PSTA. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello, thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
Thanks. It's wonderful. Beautiful day in St. Pete.
It is, as always, sunny.
As always, sunny and bright.
A little chillier than yesterday, but I'm okay with that.
I love it. I love it. It's a taste of the Midwest from where I'm from, so I love it.
Oh, so are you fond of the cooler temperatures?
I am. So I'm from Wisconsin originally, and so I was born in the cold. And then coming down to Florida, I wanted some warmth, but getting a little taste of that fall weather is a dream come true. And this is why you live in Florida for these types of days.
Yeah, it's like just enough, you know,
Absolutely.
like, oh, it's just enough. I like it getting a little cool, but I don't like it getting into the freezing temperatures and having to deal with.
Absolutely.
You still have the warmth of the sun to keep you warm, not freeze you over.
Exactly.
So before we talk about some PSTA stuff, we're going to talk about the SunRunner today. But before we do that, I was hoping that we could talk a little bit about some of your favorite spots on the SunRunner route. Nicole, why don't you get us started with our first question?
Yes, of course. So, of course, we have amazing coffee shops here in St. Pete, but what is your favorite one along the SunRunner route?
I really like Black Crow. The vibes over by Black Crow, whenever you want a nice tea and a little edgy, you're feeling a little edgy. I just love going to Black Crow. I know they have new spots popping up all over the corridor, but Black Crow is definitely my favorite. I was just there this week and getting a nice warm cup of Joe. So definitely recommend Black Crow. And I always like Squeeze. I know that's not coffee, but it's if you're feeling healthy and need a nice smoothie, give a shout out to Squeeze. They have amazing smoothies.
I was
I-
talking with some friends about how Black Crow is kind of the quintessential like bohemian coffee shop.
Yes.
Mhm.
It used to
Amen.
be, we used to have the Globe like a long time ago.
Oh,
That must have been like more than 10 years ago. So I'm kind of aging myself. And now it's definitely Black Crow, I think.
yeah. Yeah. Love
It's
it.
a great spot with Tumble Bookstore right there with
Hmm.
it's just there's something for everybody there. So yeah, it's a great
Absolutely.
spot.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you have a favorite brewery? We have a lot of local breweries in sale popping up in St. Pete.
You are speaking to my heart,
Oh,
Dominic. I am a I don't want to say myself a beer snob, but I actually have a scrapbook that I collect brewery stickers from wherever I go with my husband.
oh, it's
So
so
if we go on a trip, I go to a brewery, I have their beer, and then I'm like, do you have a sticker? Because I would like to have it for a scrapbook. So yes, I have all the stickers from the St. Pete breweries. I need to get Voodoo Brewing because they're opening up soon, but they're not on the Sunrunner route. Back to the original question. Sorry, squirreling a little bit. I love Paw, Pinellas Ale Works.
Okay.
They are my go-to. They have this Price's horchata that is just moi, like chef's kiss. It's sweet. I never thought I would like sweet beer, but it's if you ever had a horchata, it's like the cinnamon, milk, vanilla kind of flavored beer, but it is fantastic. Highly recommend Paw for my favorite go-to. I love Cage too. Cage is great. If I Brewed the World is also on that. Did they close? I don't know. But Cage. Um, but yeah, I would have to say Paw is my favorite for sure.
I did hear there was some news about If I Brewed the World, but I thought it was the opposite. I thought they were doing something else,
Did they renovate? Oh, did they do something else?
renovating or something.
Well, good luck to them. I mean, they have great beer too. So I love more breweries pop up. So cheers to the breweries.
There's even like a little brewery passport. I don't know if you've seen that for
I
St. Pete.
have, I haven't gotten, and maybe that's a great Christmas gift for my
A
husband.
goal.
So I'll hopefully have him listen to this when it airs. So maybe he can give me a St. Petersburg beer passport. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah, it sounds like you need that. And I was gonna say you have to check out Golden Isles Brewery. It's not on the Sunrunner route, but it's on Route 9. I'm
Did
pretty sure.
that opened, right? That opened
Yeah.
recently? Oh,
Just-
yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
I haven't
Yes.
heard of that one yet. Golden Isles?
Golden Isles. Isn't it up on MLK?
It is.
Yeah, like north. Okay.
Mhm.
I saw posts about that, so I'll have to definitely check that out and get their sticker. So thank you.
Of course. And I want to say that's in like an old mechanic shop too. So it's kind of car free.
Yeah.
Repurposing.
That's kind of like a Peepaws up in Pinellas Park.
Yes.
It's also in like a kind of like the mechanic old car shop vibes for breweries.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to
No.
talk about SunRunner, but we're talking about beer. I could talk about beer all day too. So
I figured you would like that question. From what I know of you, Stephanie, I knew.
thank you, Nicole. I loved it. It was a softball question. I love that one.
For our next one, we'll get into the real stuff. What's your
Okay.
favorite lunch spot on the Sunrunner route?
Oh, lunch spot. Oh man, there is so many. You know, I'm gonna have to go with the first ever restaurant that I ever had in St. Petersburg. It was actually when I lived in North Dakota. That's a story for another day. But I visited my brother and we came to St. Petersburg and we had Love Foods on Central, the
Love
vegan
food?
restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Grand
Yeah.
Central. Yeah.
Yeah. The
Mhm.
vegan restaurant. I remember I had their buffalo tempeh, and that was chef kiss. That was amazing. I also had cider press when that was on Central, but I know that they moved as well. I'm not vegan. I'm a choositarian. I should clarify that. So I choose when I want to have vegan, but I also eat meat. So all of that too. I would say Trophy Fish is a cool spot too. I like to hang out there and have some awesome seafood from there too. So I would say those are I gave 3 for my answer. I'm sorry.
It's hard to narrow it down to one. That's
It
why
is. There's so many lunch spots in the city of St. Petersburg and on the beach too. So all in between, there's so many good. You can't go wrong on the Sunrunner route. There's so many.
really,
There are a
every
lot.
spot.
Yeah.
There's still some I want to try. There's a Japanese restaurant at the very end of the Sunrunner, I think called Yakamoto. It's at the very last stop, and I've been wanting to try it.
Ooh.
Because I like sushi and I
Sushi.
still have it. I'm still looking for a sushi spot in St. Pete. I know there are a few, but
Yeah.
I'm still looking for the one that hits the spot.
I hear you on that one.
Do you have a favorite bar? Not necessarily a brewery, but maybe a bar that, full bar.
I know what my husband would say. He really likes Steve's on Central. That's right by No Vacancy. He really likes the old school.
That little,
yes,
it's like a little divey bar kind of.
Yeah, the dive bar. He really likes that one.
Is that what it's called? I passed it a
Yeah.
million times and I never knew it had a name.
I think it's also cash only, I believe, which brings the fun into it. You don't do credit cards and that sort of thing. So I know that he would say Steve's. I like farther down from Ferg's, it's called the Draft House. It's kind of in if you go north on Central, right by Ferg's, it's a little bit over there. Draft House, it's like an easy, chillax bar that I've been to watch sports games before. I'm a sports girl, so I remember I'm a Milwaukee Bucks fan, and when the Milwaukee Bucks won their championship back in 2021, I watched Game 5, and they were playing the Phoenix Suns, and I remember just screaming my head off at Draft House, and it was a good time. So highly recommend Draft House is my favorite on the Sunrunner route.
That's a good recommendation. I've seen it a bunch of times and have never stopped in, but it's at the bottom of that apartment.
Yeah, apartment complex. Yep. That's a good little spot.
Awesome. Well, and then it sounds like you guys probably have a lot along the route, but what is your favorite date night activity to do with your husband?
Oh man. I still have to do this, and I wanted to do this with him, is actually go to an escape room. There are so many on the Sunrunner route. I forget the one where I went to with a couple of my coworkers for an outing. But I also know there is one on St. Pete Beach, in the SunRunner route as well. I forget the names, but I would say go to an escape room and have some fun there because you really get to know a person when they're under pressure and time. And you can be like, hey, this is a no. I'm married, so I'm stuck with I'm not stuck with you, honey. But like be like, hey, this is like kind of the first date. Let's go to an escape room. Let's see how you react under pressure. I think that's a good recommendation too. There's also, I would also give another recommendation. There's the Sunshine Comedy Club right on St. Pete Beach. I think is just open too. I would recommend that if it's always fun to bond with somebody about a comedy club and seeing people tell jokes or improv or that sort of thing. So I would recommend that for being a cool date night.
I have to admit, I am a big escape room nerd. So I would recommend the Great Escape Room. It's over on I think in the Grand Central District.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one where I was at. Yes.
They're pretty good. I would recommend them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a good one. Agree.
Do you have a favorite shop along the route?
Oh man.
I know that oh geez, what's it called? It's not Black Friday, Shop Local Saturday. Is that what it is? That's coming up. It's like our response. What is it?
Shopapalooza.
Is it called Shopapalooza?
On Black Friday, I think so.
It's like our response to Black Friday to get people to shop local. Is it called Shopapalooza? Is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure. I'm Googling it.
Because I'm a beer person, Boutique on Central.
Oh, that's right. They have. Yeah. So I haven't been in there. So tell me a little bit about what that.
Don't they have a bar right in there, so you can actually get wine while you shop. It's amazing.
And it's like a store.
It's like a storefront clothing with a bar. So if you need to drink sometimes to shop, because I do a lot of my online shopping, I know that's not good for small business. I'm sorry. But if you need to shop, why not go to a place with a bar right there? So it's all in one stop. So recommend that for Boutique.
I love that shop, but then it's so dangerous because you get
that's probably the marketing ploy. So that's why I applaud them as a marketeer myself. So great ideas.
I have to say, the Sprinkle Girls, that's a great first date too. Yeah. Take them to Boutique.
Absolutely. There you go.
Yep. There's another shop on Central that has a similar I guess model. I think it's Sip Shop Hooray.
Yes they do.
Yep. And they also have, it's like a shop and then they have like a bar inside.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that model. I think it's great marketing.
So our last question for this fun portion is, what is when you're going out with friends on the weekend, what is your favorite weekend activity to do?
Oh man, we just like we would like to say, we like to bar hop, especially this past weekend, going out for Halloween, seeing everybody dressed up. We went to Tequila Daisy, which that was my first time going to Tequila Daisy, which I know we'll talk about it in a little bit. That's where a new SunRunner stop is going to be soon. So it'll be accessible for that. But going to Tequila Daisy, going to the landing up by Janice Live. Goodnight John Boy is the happening place. I know there was a line around the corner when we were for Halloween. So we're like, maybe next time. But I'd have been there before when they opened up. But just seeing the nightlife in St. Petersburg is amazing. Compared to when I first came here in 2019, it was kind of small, but it was growing. And then now everybody's anybody is out in St. Pete. So just going to people watch and bar hop and just have a good old time in downtown St. Petersburg. So I would say
it's definitely grown. When I first moved here, it was just the 200 block. It was a 200 block and like at the Emerald.
The Emerald. Oh man,
that's pretty much it. Emerald is that's a staple. That's a classic.
Oh man.
And that was it. But now, I mean, you can walk down Central.
You don't even have to have a plan. You could just be like, oh, is this happening? Okay, let's go to Whiskey Exchange, let's get the shot that's on sale, the liquor that's on sale or something like that. So lots of fun times, and it's a great time to be living in St. Petersburg for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the SunRunner. So,
Okay.
first of all, congratulations on
Thank
a
you.
very successful first year with the SunRunner.
Yes.
For those who are listening that may not know much about the SunRunner, can you tell us a little bit about what a BRT, bus rapid transit, is, and what the SunRunner is and what it does?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the SunRunner is actually the Tampa Bay region's first, like you said, bus rapid transit line, or a BRT system in the Tampa Bay region. It's the first of its kind. And we had been needing some sort of rapid transit system like this for a very long time in the city of St. Petersburg. As you know, it's an easy way for people to get from downtown St. Petersburg to the beach in less than 35 minutes. That's it. All you have, it's a rapid because it has semi-dedicated lanes. So as you roll down First Ave North and First Ave South in the city of St. Petersburg, you'll be able to see these dedicated lanes for the buses, and you'll be able to see our iconic stations. So what this does is it allows our bus to be in its own lane unless a car has to turn left, of course. And it also gets transit signal priority. So when it's running late, like because the intervals are every 15 minutes, when it's running late, it gets signal priority. So it'll be, if the signal is red and it's late, the bus will communicate to the signals and it'll turn green for the bus. So that's pretty cool to keep it on schedule. So again, let me go through the hours just so everybody knows. So from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., it's every 15 minutes. And then from 8 p.m. to midnight, it's every 30 minutes. So again, it's just an easy way for people to not having to worry about parking your car, driving in the busy area of city of St. Petersburg and the beaches, and not even have to paying for parking at the beach, because a lot of people love to go to the beach. That's what we're known for in Pinellas County, our world-class beaches, right? So you can easily just hop on the SunRunner, pay a maximum amount of $5 a day, and get to the beach and come back in no problem. So that's what the SunRunner is in a nutshell, if I answered your question.
It's kind of nice because you're leveraging technology to
Yeah.
make this bus feel more like a train or like a commuter rail or a light rail, right? And to say like it's just every 15 minutes makes it so much easier for people to understand the schedule, because that's the one thing that I think complicates buses for people and really deters them, is that the schedule is just so complicated, right? But I think that simplification makes the SunRunner so much more appealing, at least for me. Like, it's just so easy to just tell somebody like, oh, just hop on the SunRunner. If you don't see a bus approaching, it's going to come in 15 minutes. And you have the signage too that tells you when the next bus is coming.
Exactly. That's the thing. And what is more iconic to Pinellas County than Mr. Sun on a bus? So, if we wanted to, when we were creating the SunRunner, we wanted to make it a part of the community, something that Pinellas County and the citizens and even the tourists can be proud of. We didn't want it to become just another bus, you know what I mean? So to have the iconic Mr. Sun as the head logo and that sort of thing, we couldn't be more appreciative of the response that we've received from the community about the SunRunner. So yeah, it's very successful so far.
Well, and I have to commend you all, not only on the technology, you guys have put in this to interact with the streetlight systems, but also the invention of the bike racks that is
Yes.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that a little bit. Do you know a lot of the background there about the SunRunner bike rack?
Yeah, so what we wanted to do, as you know, with our regular PSC buses, you have to put your bike on the front, and even your bus driver can latch it on, so it goes in the front. But we wanted to make it easier and bike friendly for our bikers out there to just roll on the elevated platform and ride onto the bus and make it seamless, because that's what makes it rapid, you guys. Because if you're like going in the front, trying to put on your bike on the front, that's going to take time. And what we've realized is people want frequency and reliability. And if it's every 15 minutes and people just roll up on the platform and roll into the bus when it comes, and then just latch it onto the bike racks inside, it makes it easy and we can be on the go. So absolutely.
It makes it quicker. I also think it's more accessible. If you're somebody who doesn't have as much upper body strength, I think the way that the bike kind of lifts for you makes it so much easier than if you had to put it on the rack in the front of the
Absolutely. Absolutely. Trying to make it easy as possible for bikers and people who, like you said, don't have the upper body strength to ride their bike. Absolutely.
And it's a local invention, right? It's patented by the PST.
Absolutely. It's this is the first of its kind of bike rack. So absolutely. I mean, we wanted to make this unique, and what better way to do that than making a special invention for our bicyclists.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Yes, and it's very car free St. Pete against that most.
Of course. Of course, promoting that too. You don't need a car to get around. Just bring you on your bike and you're good to go. So
yeah. So I know for much of the first year, the service was fare free, but that fare free period has ended.
Yep.
I've also noticed just getting on the bus that the payment system looks a little different than on other buses. So would you mind telling listeners a little bit about how they can pay for the SunRunner now and how much it costs?
Yeah, absolutely. So what you've noticed probably, Nicole, is that the SunRunner compared to our regular PSTA bus services, there is no cash box. SunRunner is a completely cashless system. And let me go into why we decided that. It again goes to the reasons of we wanted this service to be rapid. If people are congregated up at the fare box and the front, that's going to take time. That takes time for people to load in their cash, all that sort of stuff. So we wanted to make this completely cashless system. So how you can pay is you can pay through a Flamingo card, which is available at any PSTA customer service center or at the PSTA headquarters, or you can download the Flamingo Fares app right on your phone. And then you can load money on each of those, either the app or the card, and then pay on your way. What's also cool is we also introduced this last February is contactless payments. So if your credit card has the little Wi-Fi symbol on it, all you have to do is just tap and go. Tap and find your seat. It's as easy as that. If you have Apple Pay on your phone or an Apple Watch, tap that. You're good to go. We wanted to make it as seamless as possible for riders to get on. And again, that contributes to the rapidness of the system. And again, fares are only $2.25, but you got to make sure that you pay with the same method that you paid with. So you pay a maximum of $5 a day. You're never going to pay more than that as long as you pay with the same method of payment.
I was going to ask that question.
Yeah.
If you just tap with your credit card, right? Mm-hmm. Will it recognize that you've paid 3 times and just cap you at $5?
Yeah, it'll cap you at $5. Absolutely.
That's incredible. That's really great. So you don't have to create an account per se. You can just do that. Oh.
Absolutely. So we were trying to make it seamless as possible and still trying to gear toward, it's still really easy. It's the easiest and cheapest way to get to wherever you need to go on the SunRunner corridor, rather than driving and trying to find parking to pay $15, $20 for parking. So yeah.
I think especially if you're going to the beach, right? Because if you drive to the beach, you're going to pay parking. It's definitely going to be more than $5, depending on how long you'll be there. And
absolutely. So I don't know if you've had the experience, but whenever I go to the beach and I'm driving, I'm driving around for probably 20 minutes trying to find a parking spot. And I'm like, oh, what there? And then I get sniped. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I have to have this permit. Oh, no, I can't park there. But SunRunner literally drops you right off at Pinellas County Beach Access, and you're steps away from the beach. You don't have to worry about the hassle of trying to find a parking spot and walking over a mile away, so we've all tried to park in neighborhoods or that sort of thing where it's available, but yeah, then we have to walk a mile away. So this takes the walking right out of it, especially when you have coolers or umbrellas or all of your beach gear and you're trying to walk across the Gulf Boulevard trying to get to the beach. But SunRunner, you have all that. one place and you just walk right in. Right.
Yeah, it drops you off literally right at the entrance to the beach on Treasure Island there, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
So the SunRunner had over 1 million riders before you even hit the first year anniversary mark, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's unheard of. I will say that's unheard of for a new service.
Yeah.
What are your ridership projections moving forward?
So obviously part of that, and I'll be honest, it was because it was free. You know, we have seen a lot of choice riders who had never ridden public transit before, you know, ride the SunRunner. And obviously the response we got was amazing. We hit 1 million before our anniversary of the launch. So it's wonderful. You know, now we've started instituting fares. We've projected that we will see a little bit of a drop off just because trying to institute going from free to not free is a little bit of a shock to some people. However, there's still a need of people getting to the beach or getting to their place of work. We've seen a lot of people who work on the hotels on the beach still use the SunRunner because it's the quickest way. And we're still promoting this is still the best and cheapest way to get to downtown or even to the beach. So again, we're projecting a little bit of a drop off compared to when it was free, but we're still projecting it to be our highest ridership route compared to other services that we offer.
And I have to just plug for you guys, if you're somebody who lives along the route, I think it's great to look into the monthly service packages that you guys have. You know, because it does make it cheaper. And if you're somebody who is going to be riding the SunRunner very often, I think that's a great way to make it easier to use the SunRunner, a little cheaper. Because like you said, it's such a great way to get downtown or to the beaches. So if you're somebody that works in one of those places, definitely look at it.
Absolutely. And I do want to plug actually one thing, a program that actually started yesterday within the city of St. Petersburg. We actually started our St. Petersburg Transit Disadvantage program. So our Transit Disadvantage program is actually a state-funded program where if people live within 200% of the poverty level, meaning, you know, they're low income, they don't have a mode of transportation, meaning they don't have a car, they don't have family members that can drive them to work, they can apply for this Transit Disadvantage program. And the city of St. Petersburg actually just passed a resolution that they will pay the fares of this Transit Disadvantage program person if they live within the city of St. Petersburg city limits. So again, if that makes sense, let me back up if that makes sense. So if you live within the city of St. Petersburg and you qualify for the Transit Disadvantage program, the city of St. Petersburg will pay your monthly fares, if that makes sense, for bus passes. Isn't that amazing? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that make sense? I'm sorry if I could re-explain it in a different way. But if you want to get a transit disadvantage application, all you have to do is go to psta.net/TD, and there's an application there waiting for you to be filled out. And all you have to do is return that to a customer service center, and we'll take a look at it, and then you can apply for that program. So a little plug for that.
That is fantastic. And I'll just reiterate for you, if you're anybody living in the city of St. Pete and you qualify for the Transportation Disadvantage program, you can get that program for free and not have to pay the $11 fee.
Yeah, it's an $11 monthly pass. So yeah, the city of St. Petersburg is paying for that. So thank you to the city council for recognizing the need for those for public transportation. So thank you to them.
That really is incredible and so exciting to hear. I think, you know, a lot of us were a little disappointed at the SunRunner being fare free, especially all the politics behind that.
Of course.
It really is incredible that the city of St. Pete was able to contribute to that program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't be more thankful for their support.
Yes. Well, to talk about, you know, something fun as well. I know we talked about the new downtown stop coming soon. That'll be next to the Sundial Garage. As somebody who parks in the Sundial Garage and has a monthly pass, I am super excited for this new stop to be here. But can you tell us a little bit more about that stop and how PSTA was even able to add that stop to the route?
Absolutely. So one of the amazing things about this project, and I have to give a shout out to our project management team, is that the SunRunner actually came under budget. as in we finished the project and we still had money left over. Now, to clarify, we can only use that leftover funds for SunRunner specific projects. We can't use it for anything else. So we decided, and we listened to the community. They were like, hey, why don't we have a SunRunner stop closer to the pier? The pier is bringing so many tourists to the city of St. Petersburg for many reasons. I mean, it's an amazing pier. So we listened and we're like, hey, maybe we can put a stop here. So we did studies and we actually got approved from the Federal Transportation Administration, FTA, that we can put a stop, like you said, near the Sundial Garage. And we couldn't be more excited. We made that announcement at our 6-month anniversary of the SunRunner, and construction is expected to begin next year. So we couldn't be more thrilled. We're making the SunRunner an amazing service, but making it even better and listening to our community. I mean, just think how much closer people can even get off at that spot and go to the pier or go to the Cross Bay Ferry and get over to Tampa. We're truly making this a car-free option for not only our residents, but visitors to the Tampa Bay region. So we couldn't be more excited.
It really is incredible. And again, I have to commend you and PSTA in whole, because I mean, it is completely unheard of for a transportation agency to be able to implement a service that's first of its kind in the region, that comes in under budget and is able to garner 1 million riders in under the first year. So that is just incredible. I mean, what a tremendous success.
And we're not done there. I mean, like I said, we're improving, and into addition with this new stop, we also purchased 3 additional SunRunner buses. So I know sometimes the time can be, oh, it's only 32 minutes or it's 26 minutes. We're going to be adding buses to the route. So again, we're keeping that frequency and keeping it attractive to our riders and potential riders to ride the SunRunner. So we couldn't be more excited to keep improving a great service.
Yes. And I'm so glad you guys are able to add those extra buses. I know even this last weekend was Halloween on Central.
Yeah.
I rode the SunRunner multiple times, trying to come back and forth between our offices as we ran out of materials.
I will say we actually added 5 additional buses. So you may have ridden a bus that's not a SunRunner bus. That's just because we saw the demand from last year on Halloween on Central, and we wanted to keep up. So hats off to our transportation team for making sure that riders get to where they need to go comfortably and adding those 5 extra buses. So yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I was so glad you guys could add the extra buses, but on one of the trips I did have to take a non-SunRunner bus, and it was a little disappointing. So it's good to know more buses are being added to the fleet, so that if you're waiting for the SunRunner on those high event days, you're definitely, hopefully going to get a SunRunner bus.
Absolutely. Couldn't be more excited.
Now, you mentioned the additional the stop that you guys are planning, but I was curious, with the success of the SunRunner, are there conversations about eventually creating perhaps an additional BRT line, maybe one that goes north-south to complement it?
Absolutely. So we have a partnership with our NPO, which is Forward Pinellas, and they've been actually doing studies throughout the county on what's the next corridor, right? So they are actually going to provide us with a study of like, hey, maybe this could be, but I know there's talks of alternative Route 19 from Gulf to Bay to Clearwater. There's many different options that Forward Pinellas is currently doing studies on, and we can't wait to get our hands on that to see what the next corridor is. So I will say this SunRunner was always meant to be a catalyst for more BRTs in the region. You know, when the next one is or where the next one is, you'll have to stay tuned, but we're not done there. So we're excited.
That is exciting. Yeah, it's good to see initiatives like this. For myself, I don't have a car, so it's nice to be able to see these things happening, because there are still some places, like if I need to go to the airport, that I still take an Uber or a Lyft, right? Because it is kind of cumbersome.
Of course. And that, that's our dream too, to, connect with, the new Howard Franklin, because I know they're adding lanes. I know on 275, they're also building like a toll lane. There's talks of that becoming an not just for tolls, cars who want to pay to be in that toll road, but also for buses to be able to be in that lane and move throughout the county and even go over to Hillsborough. So there's always possibilities, and we just can't wait to hear from Forward Pinellas on their studies and get to work on the next one.
And I think we're so lucky here in St. Petersburg, you know, being in Florida, that's always been very auto-centric. I think we are so lucky to have such a great team at PSTA that is exploring all these innovative options and trying to improve our system so that individuals that are fully car-free or just want to be car-free sometimes are able to use the bus as an option. Because that's definitely not the case in all parts of Florida.
No,
Oh yeah,
correct.
yeah, yeah. And it's kind of a shame that that's the case, because I've lived in places that have really robust public transportation systems. Like I've lived in New York and Seattle, and those places get really cold, and and walking in the snow is not always fun, or not. Actually, the snow is not bad. It's the ice. It's the ice that is bad. And here, there's an opportunity to be car-free year-round and not have to deal with all of that. So yeah, thank you for all the work that you do. And keep it up. We are cheering you on over here.
Yeah.
So
we do it for riders like you guys. So we appreciate all the support that you've given PSTA, and continuing to spread the message of why you should go car-free and why you should ride the PSTA buses, or why you should ride the SunRunner to not only benefit, the environmental, because it's climate change is a thing and that sort of thing, but also reducing traffic, because we know how crowded it's getting in Tampa Bay region. Everybody who's anybody wants to live in the Tampa Bay region, and they all bring their cars with them. So to be able to reduce cars and spread that message of PSTA is great. We do pretty good work. So appreciate you guys.
You really do. And thank you so much for joining us tonight to talk about the SunRunner's first year. Congratulations on just a stellar first year of service. It really is amazing.
Of course. Thank you.
To everyone listening, if you haven't ride the SunRunner yet, definitely make sure you take a ride soon.
Yep. Be sure to ride it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.